I'm Jessica Sowers, owner of Body Bliss Connection.
I'm Jamie Marich. I'm a clinical trauma specialist, expressive arts therapist, author, and co-founder of Yoga Unchained.
I am also the co-founder of Yoga Unchained. Let's meet in Savasana. We come to lying on our back, on our mat, allowing each heel to find its own bottom corner of the mat. Allow the head, the neck, the shoulders to rest. The hips, the knees, the heels to rest. To allow the body to rest deeply, we rotate the palms so they face up towards the ceiling. This helps to release any effort in the shoulders and allows them to open. The next thing we want to do is very gently tuck the shoulder blades under like a pair of wings. Very gentle movement. And resettle in. Notice any tension that you may be holding in the legs and invite them to release so those feet can flop in or out in any direction. Just allowing those leg muscles to completely let go. Our eyes can be softly closed with those eyelids resting gently over the eyeballs, or we're more than welcome to keep a very soft gaze up towards the sky with that fuzzy edged focus, just to keep it soft. With every exhale, we invite the body to rest a little deeper. We invite the body to let go a little more, discovering true, deep rest. To come out of this posture, we invite awareness to come back into the body and then bring slow and gentle movements back in. Giving yourself permission to allow each and every muscle the chance to stretch, to move, and reawaken. When you're feeling ready, you'll roll onto one side and pause there for a breath or two. Inviting your body to stay nice and restful and your eyes to stay soft. Use the top hand to press down into the earth and guide your body back up to an easy seated position. Jamie, tell me how you feel about Savasana.
That was too short. I think a lot of us have that experience with Savasana. Some people don't, because I know Savasana is challenging.
Yeah, in a different way.
People who may be a little more high energy.
Yes.
And the challenge of yoga practice is about coming down.
Right.
So I remember one time I was teaching another experience where we had incorporated a Shavasana or corpse pose into it. And I had a student cry saying, I can't relax. And I think that's an interesting thing to talk about, especially with our kind of approach to trauma-informed and trauma-focused yoga, that so many people think the imperative in this pose is to relax. And if I'm not relaxing or if I'm not blissing out, then I have somehow failed yoga. That's one of the reasons we tend to steer away from the word relax in general. You may hear us say it from time to time, but relax is one of those trigger vulnerable words for many folks who have experienced unhealed trauma, particularly because many abusers have used that word relax as a command. Many times people have been invalidated and the phrase, you just need to relax, is
I hear
used.
that.
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect.
Right.
So we tend to, I at least like the word rest for this pose, that it is important to give yourself some period of rest to let the benefits of the practice integrate, to let the breath slow down a bit, to get quiet perhaps. There's a lot of words you can use. Because for me, my experience here today was fundamental, even though I was in it a short period of time, it was a resting pose for me. It was fundamentally restful. So I think whatever pose you conclude a practice with, let it be one that helps you to rest and integrate.
One of the biggest challenges in Savasana is the fact that even if the body can rest and let go, sometimes the mind races. Because we're really slowing the body down, or we're not focused in on balancing or effort of a posture. So we're allowing the body to rest, and sometimes the mind kicks in then. So this is like the asana for the mind. It's like running a marathon. You have to train your brain and your thoughts to slow down. And this is part of that training. This is the challenging pose, maybe not physically, but mentally, this is the challenging posture.
So let's talk about modifications, because this is another one of those poses. So many of us like it. We can get into that tendency of overselling it.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah. Challenges I've seen because of certain physical issues, whether it be size or injury, lying on your back for a long period of time or even a short period of time could be uncomfortable. There is also the vulnerability potential of being exposed. So let's start talking. There's several modifications we want to cover here, using props or not using props.
Right. So just lying in Savasana with the blanket over the body helps to perhaps give a little bit of more secure feeling to our bodies. So you can offer that as an option to your clients or students.
Jessica and I were also discussing before this video that a rolled blanket under the head at whatever setting can be optimal to a bolster. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
So I notice sometimes my students like to put a bolster or a big thick pillow under their head. And I'm going to have Jamie do that. So we're going to have her lift her head and go ahead and rest. So she's got this bolster.
Yeah, there's effort in my neck.
It is effort in the neck. And this is what I want to draw attention to. So for some individuals, they like this position. But notice how her forehead is above her chin here. And this is not the optimal position for the neck. It does not allow the neck muscles to soften and rest. So we want to try to come to a position where her chin and her forehead are on the same level. So Jamie, go ahead and lift that head gently and just set back down. Very good. So Jamie's head is very good right here. Her forehead is just slightly below the chin. So if anything, we might place a folded blanket under there for her, but we want to give the optimal rest for the neck. Now, some people feel that that propped head feels better in their body, and we would never argue with someone. They're going to have the experience that they would like to have, so we want to give that to them. However, we might want to start to become aware of that neck issue there.
Let's talk about side Savasana.
Side Savasana is another option to lying on your back. You can always have someone rest on their side. So Jamie has chose her right side, but if someone does not matter, we might want to encourage them to come to their left side. But either way is perfectly good. The arm is outstretched, so that's the pillow for the head. And her legs are stacked, so that's a good support there. If she felt she needed a little more support in the legs, we could always take this bolster and place the bolster between the knee and the ankle, just to give a little extra support there in her body to allow that to rest a little deeper. How's that feel, Jamie?
Like I want to go to sleep.
Yes. So side Savasana is always an option. It can feel a little less vulnerable to individuals.
And the final option we'd like to talk about for modification is a seated Shavasana, which many folks in a program I teach tend to like. Sometimes it's a body type issue. Sometimes this feels less vulnerable, where you're essentially in easy seat, yet you're using the wall to support you like the ground might in Shavasana. So it is still about resting and letting go.
So in a seated Shavasana, which is always an option for individuals, we want to ensure or at least encourage them to truly let the muscles soften and to rest. So allow the wall to support the head, to lean the back onto that wall, to soften through the hips. And if they're uncomfortable in easy seat, because we've talked before about how that can be a big hip opener, they're more than welcome to put the legs out in front, sometimes even rolling a blanket so the knees are bent, or placing that bolster under the knees to have a little bit of effortlessness in that way. And they could rest there for the entire 7 to 15 minutes of Savasana, depending on how long you make that.
And I'm glad you mentioned the time variability, which is a feature of our trauma-focused approach we talk about through a lot of our videos, that sometimes the length of your Savasana is determined by the length of time you have to work with the class. So that's something you want to be mindful of. But even with students who are new, this can feel like, oh my gosh, what's this about? It can feel like an eternity. So you may have a perfectly fine 2 to 3 minute Shavasana.
Yeah.
Just demonstrated a very shortened version of it here, but you can still carry the intention of the pose with it.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so wherever you're at, we hope you can get some rest with this pose.
Thank you.